Alright, I'm back in JB, back to the van. This is a very exciting week. Finally, after it's been a month, 2 months of tearing down, we're finally ready to build. Same as with building a home, the first step is always foundation. What is the foundation for a camper van? There's actually many layers to building the foundation. But as you can see, there's nothing to build the floor because it has already a shell. The structure is already sound. But to make the van from something to transport goods to something that's livable, we need to do a couple of things. Put a layer of this sound that needs to prevent the car vibration so that the panels is not as loud, especially the door panels, especially the roof, so when it rains, it's not so noisy, and also just makes the sleeping environment a lot more comfortable. Let's go. Roll it up and down, give it up and down also. The ruler and then connect all the dots. Did you connect any dots at all? This is the sound before sound insulation. After sound insulation. Is there any difference? It's a bit not so ringy. The first guest in the van. Should come in, baby. We have, according to YouTube, the wheelbase, the arch of the wheel is the one that generates the most sound. So we're going to do the wheels now. Every campervan YouTube video I've watched always says it takes way longer than you expect it to be, and it is coming to be true. One whole night to do one small thing. Looking for resonant frequencies to dampen. Okay, this looks all dampened. See? It's ringing here. It's ringing here. This guy's not doing his job. If my science is correct, the most of the resonance frequency is in the middle, so we put a lot more in the middle. Next is making it cool and comfortable, keeping the heat outside and keeping it inside cool. Oh, this is the big one. There is so many science and different layers of insulation out there you can find, and particularly because we're in Southeast Asia and Malaysia, there's a lot of humidity, so we need to take that into consideration. Whether is it flammable or not, is it safe to live in, whether is it water resistant, or is it waterproof, is it good at its job, which is keeping heat out. I have went with a couple of hybrid solutions. We're using XBR foam, which is this blue foam, on the floor so that the road heat doesn't come out into the cabin. And for the ceiling, I'm using closed cell MBR foam, some nitrile butyl foam insulation on the ceiling with aluminum foil. So there's two types of heat. One is conductive heat, so when the walls are warm, it radiates the infrared heat into the cabin. That you can use something that's full of air, like foam or wool, or the last owner, they actually use some coconut husk thingy. Number two is radiant heat. So when you realize that sometimes when you shine the light, it comes with this heat even though there's no light, that's infrared heat. So infrared heat gets bounced back by something reflective. So we have a radiant heat barrier, which is the aluminum foil. We have conductive heat layer, which is the foam. And the last thing is what they call thermal bridges. Basically, anywhere where the insulation is not as thick, it has big contact into the external environment, and that still radiates heat bin. This van has lots of thermal bridges. That's why a lot of camper builds, they actually frame out the whole thing. I haven't decided to frame it because there's not a lot of space. We'll have to see how bad it is. I really do like the metal because it gives me a lot of options to mount a lot of accessories using the metal. So we will see how we go about that. But for now, let's build. It's so exciting. Finally, we are building the van. All right, let's go. So it's time to do the floorboards. We call this XPS board. So they are boards that are quite dense and they are quite good at subfloors and insulation. But there's some areas that are bumpy and we need to make a cutout so that it fits nicely into there. Cardboard to stencil out the shape. Yeah, baby! We are using the previous wood boards as stencils. Makes our life a bit easier. A little bit messy here, but I will take it. We are now going to start on the insulation. Very first piece. Nice and shiny. AM. It's pretty cool because above me there's an awning, but it's not insulated. I can feel the radiant heat coming down. But inside the van, I cannot feel the radiant heat. This guy must be doing his job. Woo! It's surprising how deep this thing goes. Holy, check it out. Insulation is done. You just go around with aluminum tape to tape up the seams. It's supposed to prevent thermal bridges so that the heat doesn't go through the seams. Okay, we're now under the sun. Let's take a look at see how the insulation is doing. As we park under the sun, as I went for lunch. Very nice Tesla mark. It's been parked for an hour. Let's see. Okay, there's a little bit of exposed metal here. You can feel the heat from the metal. Here it feels quite warm. That's not too bad in the cabin actually. Feels reasonably cool. Maybe I might add one more layer here. Not too bad. Okay, this is the thermal bridge. This is very hot. I can find a way to somehow spray in some expanding foam somehow. But other than that, yeah, I'm pretty happy with how the installation is coming out. I'm trying to reuse the plywood if possible. If not, we have to go to the plywood supplier and find someone to cut it to size. Or we cut it by ourselves, which is an absolute nightmare. Oh, that is clearly that is the battery, the acid. But I can see here. Oh man, the whole wood. Initial under you reuse this, but I don't think it's gonna be able to be used again. And then here at the plywood supplier shop, we have a floor. We need a sturdy wood so that we can bounce all the stuff on the floor. So I'm bringing different kinds of plywood, so we're gonna figure out what's the correct one to use. A crazy amount of types of plywood. So different type of plywoods. The way they glue, the material of the plywood, whether is it with a PVC outside or not. So the one that I'm looking for is marine plywood, the one they used to make boats and stuff, because there's so much moisture, there's so much humidity. If it rains, if you spill a drink, you really need a floorboard to be waterproof. Unlike the last one where it's sort of corroding and rusting and rotting. So I really just invest. I think it's like twice as expensive as normal plywood, but there is going to be a tons of spillage in the water with a kid on board. So it's one of those costs, just gotta suck it up. So marine plywood settled. They're now just gonna get it sent over to the workshop nearby to cut to size, and I am very excited. That's my plywood. One of the interesting things about the plywood suppliers in JB, I'm not sure about KL, is that they don't provide cutting services. You think about all the ones in Singapore, they always are like, what size you want to cut for you. But here, it's like they just sell you the plywood. You have to go to another place to cut. So she directed me to one of the shops just down the road to provide cutting services. So let's take a look. Terima kasih. This is getting quite exciting actually. Carpentry work, yo. There's no way I could have done that with a jigsaw. Here's his a jigsaw. Seems easier than asking him to help me cut. That is some professional work where they're in with the template. Holy shit, perfect. Hell yeah, look at that. Ooh. Wow, sick. Holy shit, the guy made quick code. Check out this perfect curve, they're going straight. There's no way I could have done that, no way I could have done that. Crazy big size chicken walking around. Bloody hell, what the shit, look at this perfect fit. Thank you boss, thank you boss. And what a whirlwind. I came here expecting just to buy the wood and go back and figure out how to cut. And then the guy told me, hey, can you cut straight? And the other guy said, hey, I can cut curve for you, you know? And, oh my god! Within an hour, my entire van floorboard is done. Holy shit! It would have taken me like 10 hours just to figure it out. Well worth the money. Woo! To celebrate the completion of phase 1, I'm here at one of my favorite restaurants in JB for a celebration meal. Mingji. I always come here. Their fried bee hoon is ridiculously good. One of the best chabuns I've tasted. Crispy, flavorful, delicious, and paired with this very tangy chili sauce. Oh man, that is a celebration. To truly make the marine plywood waterproof, we need to apply a layer of varnish. We have round 2 of our varnish coating. Instead we did round 1. It's a bit tougher than I expected because it's so freaking hot. I'm not sure it's varnish on my face or just sweat dropping down. But round 2. Are you excited to see the end of phase 1 completed? Let's go. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and give us a follow. And if you have any questions, let us know in the comments below. See you. Keep working. Hurry up.